Good morning, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, Sacred Geography, and Shinrin Yoku, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Monday, August 21st, around 1 p.m. Mountain Time 2023. Tropical season is heating up in the Atlantic. There are 3 named storms currently, none of them threatening the U.S. except for potential Tropical Cyclone 9, which could be hitting Texas, the nexus of the Schmexis. This is all as tropical activity is ramping up to peak September 10th. Keep calm, it's boom time. Now, the number one tropical storm we've been talking about is Hurricane Hilary, Tropical Depression Hilary, dumping record amounts of rain on Southern California. Here we see images of flooded Dodger Stadium, which is stunning the fans. These were scenes yesterday, as Sunday was the wettest August day ever in downtown LA. The first tropical storm to hit Southern California in 84 years delivered rainfall records Sunday during what is typically the driest month of the year. Hilary dropped more than half a year's worth of rain on some areas, including Palm Springs, which saw 3.18 inches by Sunday night. In downtown LA, the rainfall of 2.3 inches set the record, breaking the old mark of 2.06 set back in 1977 during Cyclone Doreen. And areas north of LA and San Bernardino picked up huge amounts of rain, areas with 7 or more inches here on the map. Let's take a look and just click 8.99 inches at Little Creek. We've also got Middle Fork of the Little Creek, 8 inches. Down here, 5.75 inches in San Gabriel Dam. 8.67 inches, Heart Bar near Big Bear. So up in the mountains, some heavy totals, and even up in Palmdale, 5.87 inches at Lake Palmdale. So heavy rain, record rain coming from the system as predicted. We do have some footage of the flooding here. This is Palm Springs flooding. Looks like that's coming off a golf course there. When in doubt, turn around. The flash flooding warning continues for the next 24 hours all the way up into Canada. So heads up, Idaho, Western Oregon. You are in the crosshairs for flash flooding today, including most of Western Nevada. The center of circulation somewhere over Nevada currently. And power outages, 52,000 without power in California. A moderate number considering what went on here. Here's a massive mudslide triggered with huge boulders in the middle of a street here. Take a look at this. You can see a sign in the background. This is moving down the middle of a street here. Probably some burn scar movement. And we do have plenty of other footage over at our Twitter feed, Oppenheimer Ranch, at Diamond the Dave. We've got a massive debris flood heading for Palm Springs. Take a look at this. Now, clearly, as you can see here, this wash was designed for floods of this size. So this is, in a sense, not unprecedented. But what is the 5.1 magnitude earthquake that was triggered by the tropical depression. Now, we've reported in the past on such occurrences along the Ring of Fire when typhoons enter, let's say, Indonesia, the Philippines. They often trigger earthquakes as they head over those major fault lines, and this is no different. And here, what is ordinarily a sandy desert is now a lake in Lucerne Valley in California.
It's supposed to be flooded. As best I can tell, this is not a lake. Well, it is now, but yes. Really, in this part of the world, there's no place for the water to go, and so it pools on the desert floor. And what you're seeing right now, obviously, is a ton of water that has piled up. Same thing on this side, not quite as bad, but look, there's no place for it to drain to, and so it just piles up, causing many roadway issues. Ultimately, the roadway here is paved, but I've seen a number of paved roads that have really been succumbing to the floodwaters, especially here, too, because all the stuff in the mountains runs downhill and pools in the valleys. So again,
and again, that mudslide. Let's see what else we have here. Here is a major rock slide that happened. Some big boulders there on the road. But overall, not that significant of an event. albeit record rainfall in some of the major cities there on the coast. Most of the flood events were like the ones we're looking at here, moderate and contained washes. So as long as you weren't camping in a wash, you'd be okay. Here is one of the peak flows.
You can see this is one of the washes that just a short time ago was dry. And you can see how rapidly this water is flowing now. There's big pieces of debris, rocks, trash, everything flowing down here along this road. It's just a matter of a couple of feet from the roadway here. So just a little bit, if it continues to go up, this
Some kids taking advantage of the flooding. And so that is our coverage. Now, what we should expect is potentially for Lake Mead to rapidly rise over the next few days. There seems to be a little uptick here, but this is 2-day-old data, so stay tuned for some updates on Lake Powell and Lake Mead as the desert Southwest fills with water. Here you can see the precipitation that's going to be moving up through Nevada during the day, as well as up into Idaho, areas with the potential for 3 to 5 inches of rain in some areas, even in Alberta and British Columbia through the weekend. So heads up, we've got a very moist system entering the desert Southwest, much needed moisture here from the monsoon, and these are tropical systems that are bringing that moisture to our region. And tropical system here, potential tropical cyclone 9, could be bringing us here at the ranch some well-needed moisture in the coming days. Franklin, Gert, and Emily all poised, Gert and Emily are poised to move north, as well as Franklin. So none of these are really threats to the U.S. mainland. They're all going to be moving out here to the central Atlantic. Now, that doesn't mean there's not going to be more threats as we move through September 10th, which is the peak in named storms and hurricanes, the peak of tropical activity. We still have, quite a few days to go to get there. That's actually about 3 weeks from now will be the peak. So the next 6 weeks, we would see the most tropical activity all season. Heads up. And another heads up for Floridians. 5 people in Tampa Bay are killed by flesh-eating bacteria as officials warn locals not to enter the sea with any cuts or grazes on their skin. If the temperature is warm and stagnant and you've got cuts, you got problems. There have been 26 reported infections of Vibrio vulnificus in Florida so far this year, and it is known to lurk in brackish seawater as it requires salt to live. Around 1 in 5 people can die within a day or two of becoming ill when they catch the bacteria. And in fact, 2 people died in Hillsborough County and 1 person each in Pasco, Polk, and Sarasota. So take heed. If you've got cuts or lacerations on your body, do not swim in warm, brackish water, ever. Now let's talk about the magnitude 5.1 earthquake that struck in Ventura County, shaking parts of Southern California.
And just after 2:30 this afternoon, that 5.1 earthquake hit Ventura County near Ojai.
Initially, it was hard to even comprehend the news, but people in many areas felt the shaking and then took to social.
And you can see right in the background there the culprit. Yes, Tropical Storm Hilary triggered this earthquake.
Media to dub the event Hurraquake. Now you can actually hear the quake here, the ground, the garage door shaking at this home in Ojai. Ojai, which is about 80 miles away from LA, was actually the epicenter of the earthquake. There were at least a dozen aftershocks of a magnitude 3 or stronger and a 3.4 just about 30 minutes ago.
NBC4's Jonathan Gonzalez has been following the aftermath of the quake. And Jonathan, you were actually live on air.
So we did have a hurricane in California confirmed. There it is with multiple aftershocks. Look at that. That is a lot of aftershocks in a 5 magnitude, but that's typical of what we see in an array of an event like this. So there you see the main event 5.1 and all smaller quakes after the fact. Now let's take a look overall worldwide here. Really no other quakes of note. Some activity on the mid-ocean ridges here. 5.7 in South Sandwich Islands. Looks like to be an uptick in Hawaii in activity. So we could see a reactivation of Kilauea in the coming days. and a 5.2 in Indonesia at 51 kilometers. Overall, pretty quiet across the Western Front. As experts warn, there's not much we can do despite the real threat of a supervolcano. And we've reported on this in the past. There typically does not have to be any warning signs for a supervolcano to erupt. So all the articles will be linked below. Worldwide Volcano News Update. Not much to report on volcanoes worldwide. Normal activity. Popo to 22,000. Sabancaya to 24,000. Ubinus puffing. Mayon puffing as well. Nevado de Ruiz to 20,000. Fuego to 16. And Sabancaya to 22,000. Just normal activity worldwide at our active volcanoes. As we head over to space weather, all is quiet on the sun as the latest HMI intensity does show a moderate spot turning around the limb, equatorial, that this could become geo-effective in the next few days. Overall, very low solar activity, KP below 3, and the 3-day geomagnetic forecast is all calm. As we enter the next grand solar minimum, which should bottom out here in a decade or so, we just want to bring you up to speed with the Oort minimum, the Wolf minimum, the Spore, the Maunder, the Dalton, the Centennial, and the modern minimum, which is occurring now. All links will be below. As Russia's first lunar mission in decades crashes into the moon. It's an absolute moon boom. And that's a boom to knowledge. Please share this video as we are shadow banned and we need your help to grow. Become a Patreon, support the work we do. Watch all of our productions commercial free in one place. And be safe. We love you. And that is a boom.